Hi there. Welcome back to my workbench. Today on the bench we have an Echo GT225. The customer says that it runs, but it doesn't run well and it has no power. So today I'm going to show you how to fix your Echo trimmer. Come on over here and let's get started. First thing we'll do is let's dump that fuel out of there. So when you have a trimmer or a chainsaw that bogs like this one does, the first thing you should do is check the spark arrestor in the muffler. We're going to pull this plastic shroud off. There's a couple T27s and the coil wire. The spark arrestor is clean, so that is not our bogging issue. We're going to go a little bit further here because I have seen problems in Echoes a bit deeper. So let's take these two pieces of hardware out. Looking in the exhaust port here, you want to make sure that there is no blockages. And this one is clean. I have seen an Echo with a boggy condition, and the spark arrestor was perfectly clean. I put it all back together and still had an issue. Removed the muffler and found that all plugged up with carbon in the exhaust port. So it's a good idea to even look in there. You have to make sure that you have airflow leaving your exhaust port and exiting the muffler. We'll put our muffler back on, and those were all T27s. Now that we've verified that we do not have a blockage in our muffler system, we're going to jump into the fuel system. The air filter looks like new. We've got two T27s here to remove. Air filter housing off. We'll just leave those two screws right in it. Let's remove the throttle cable off of this carburetor, 10 mil. So that black line is our fuel line, and that yellow line is our purge line. Let's remove them off of the carb. And if you're wondering what that other line is, that is the tank vent, which is not supposed to be down there. It's supposed to be tucked in here. But let's get these two lines off the carb. Just like that, our carburetor is off. When we had this trimmer outside, it was hard to start. I could only start it if I held the throttle on wide open. And then once I did get it started, it was very boggy. It wouldn't rev up. It had no power. But did you notice that if I gave it a little bit of choke, it would pick up? When I turned the choke back off, it would bog down or lean out again. If your trimmer does this and you keep pushing it, you will destroy it. Being that this trimmer will sit there and idle without a problem tells me this trimmer probably doesn't have an air leak. I think what we have is a fuel system problem. This trimmer looks to be barely used, but it probably sat with ethanol fuel in it, which is all you can buy in this area unless you buy pre-mixed can fuel. I think this is all fuel system. Carburetor, fuel lines. I would say we have three choices here. We could have taken this thing outside and made some adjustments to that carburetor and tried to make this thing run better. I don't think that's a good long-term solution. I don't think it's a good fix, and I think I would see this thing come back. Option number two is we take this apart and rebuild it. Option number three is we put a brand new Hipa carburetor on this thing and see how it runs for a fraction of the cost of OEM. I've been looking for a really good aftermarket brand, and we're going to give Hipa a try on this GT225. If you have an Echo GT225 or an SRM 225 or a PAS 225, then this video applies to you. I'm going to show you what came in this Hipa box. A brand new carburetor ready to install, brand new fuel lines with the fuel filter, a spark plug, 2 extra primer bulbs, 2 air filters, and a couple gaskets. This one isn't here, so either somebody's been working on this and lost it, or the factory didn't install it. So I got all of that from Hipa for around $25 Canadian. Directly from Echo, just the carburetor alone, with shipping, I'd be $140 plus 13% tax to get this carb here. Air filters, OEM, $14 a piece, and now we have 2 of them. A spark plug from Echo, $9. If I ordered this from Echo, it would come with a primer bulb and an O-ring for the gas cap, and it would cost $61. I also priced out a carb kit for this carburetor from Echo, and it would be $35 plus shipping plus 13% to get it here. That is extremely expensive for a trimmer that is brand new, $285. The customer doesn't want to spend that much money on this, so we are going to install this Hipa stuff and see how this thing runs. So if you have an Echo GT225, a PAS 225, or an SRM 225, which is the straight shaft version of this trimmer, and you need to do some fuel system work to it, I will put a link down in the description box below that will take you to this carb. You can buy these on Amazon, eBay, and directly from Hipa. If this goes well, then these guys are going to be my new source for everything aftermarket. Let's throw this thing back together. So we're going to yank these fuel lines out of the tank, and the fuel filter will come right along with them. I'm just going to use my dull prying tool to help me get that out of there. Okay, so there's the lines out with the old fuel filter. So there's the old one we took out, and there's the brand new one. To the eye, they look pretty much identical. The fuel filters look the same. From what I'm seeing so far, I'm very impressed. Let's install it. You want to put the new one in the same orientation the old one came out. And I took it out, and the tank vent was facing that direction. So we'll put it in the same way. I just used my blunt tool and just push gently down in there. So there is our line reinstalled. If you don't have a tool like this at home, if you have a scrunch, sometimes they aren't real sharp at the end, but you could smooth that out a bit, and those make a good pushing and prying tool. You just want to be very careful when you're touching fuel line that you don't wreck it. So our new carb from Hipa, I'm just going to hook up my tool to it and just make sure that this thing holds 10 psi. So that is our fuel inlet right there. 10 psi, and it holds. Okay, so I peeled that old gasket off. So that'll be our new gasket. Let's hook our fuel lines up to the new carb. Both of our fuel lines are reattached. Let's hook up our throttle cable again. Before you put this all back together, loosely put it together and then pull your throttle and make sure right here that it's going to full throttle, which it is. And if it wasn't, you would use that little nut there to adjust it. If it only went to there, That's no good. Okay, so we're reaching full throttle. So now we'll tighten this back down. Got our gasket on there. So his air filter that I took out of it looks fine. So I'll give that back to him. And we're going to install one of our new Hipa air filters. I want to see how it fits. Actually, it fits perfect. It fits nicer than that one did. That one might be a bit shrunk. And it came with 2 of them, so that's a bonus. And we'll just screw our cover back on. We'll put our new Hipa spark plug in to make sure that it's gapped properly, which it is right out of the box. Now we will throw our top cover back on. There we go. Put some fuel in this thing, and it should run like brand new. Well, I guess we'll head outside with our Echo GT225 and see if it runs any better than it did earlier. I'll meet you outside. Tyler's going to reload the trimmer head and then go do some trimming and see how this thing works.
Missing the top of the speed feed. And I'll see if I can find a used one.
Well, our Echo GT225 runs like a brand new trimmer after installing a new Hipa service kit. Brand new Hipa carb, fuel lines, spark plug, and air filter. And it works excellent. I have to say that I'm really impressed with this kit from Hipa, and they will be my go-to from now on for anything aftermarket. Thanks, Hipa. I guess it's on to the next unit. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.